Good morning, Grace Community Church. It's great to see everyone. I hope you had a great week. Uh, Please say hello to your neighbor and stand. Stand, then say hello to your neighbor, or whatever order you want to do it in, and remain standing and sing with us. Hello. Sometimes you gotta dance through the darkness, sing through the fire, praise when it don't make sense. Sometimes you gotta stare down the giant, worship from the lion's den. Sometimes you gotta shout it from the mountain, louder in the valley, trusting that he's gonna get you there. Sometimes you gotta welcome the wonder, wait for the answer, worship with your hands in the air. I'll praise you anywhere. Praise, give him praise in the highest praise. Give him praise in the highest. He is worthy. He is worthy of all of the praise. Sometimes you gotta praise in the prison, cry out to heaven, shout it till the door swing wide. Sometimes you gotta stand on your shackles, brave in the battle, worship with your hands held high. I'll praise you anywhere. Praise, give him praise in the highest praise. Give him praise in the highest. He is worthy, yeah, he is worthy of all of the praise. Give him praise in the highest praise. Give him praise in the highest. He is worthy, yeah, he is worthy of all of the praise. Faithful all my blessings day and night, countless reasons why I'll praise you anywhere. Every promise kept, goodness every step, each and every breath. I'll praise you anywhere. Faithful all my life, blessings day and night, countless reasons why I'll praise you anywhere. Every promise kept, goodness every step, each and every breath. I'll praise you anywhere. Praise, give him praise in the highest praise. Give him praise in the highest. He is worthy, yeah, he is worthy of all of the praise.
Go ahead and have a seat, everybody. How's everybody this morning? Good morning. Finding new and better ways to beat the heat? If you have, see me after the service. This is the time of year I just don't do much outside. It's too hot. Let me tell you something very important about this church that you are a part of. From the very beginning, we've practiced a biblical principle, a principle called margin. We've always made sure that we had extra money. We always made sure that we had extra time, extra people, extra volunteers, margin in everything that we do. From the very beginning, even when the church was really struggling to get going, we've carved out 10% of our annual budget that has gone to pure ministry efforts, just like Kenya. Today, 30 years later, that number has almost doubled, right at 20% of what you give, what we collectively give in offerings goes to pure ministry efforts around the world, both locally, Kenya, Romania, and the likes. Today, we're going to focus on Kenya. If you didn't have time to read through the program, Kenya began about 15, 16 years ago when we met a young man by the name of Stephen Karimi. He sat right there in a service. We found out later he was involved in Georgia Southern Nursing School because he was a native-born Kenyan and he wanted to go back to where his people were and he wanted to help them with basic medicine. It would literally extend their lives. You see, that's another biblical principle. Sometimes we think that we come up with a good idea, then we ask God to bless it. Hey, I've got a brilliant idea for the church. Now I hope God will bless it. No, the biblical principle is you find out what God is already doing and you go adjust and join him. You see, that's how that began to work. When we got to know Stephen, we began to share his vision. It wasn't long before we put 4 men from this church on an airplane and flew them to Kenya. And they researched the area, which is some 6 hours from the international airport in Nairobi. It takes quite a while to get to the mission site. But they found property, and then, I don't know, a few months later after the church has raised the money, we went over there and we bought it. And it's become something that it's going to impress you today, what God has done. And I am so proud and privileged to have been a small part of this, and you should be too, okay? Look, if you're here for the first time or the first time in a long time, welcome. If you want to know more about the church, a great way to do that is to use the communication card at the bottom of the program. If you'll fill that out and make sure we get your phone number, place it in the offering containers. Every week, we make calls to people who are here on Sundays who have a question, they want to get involved, or they have a spiritual issue they'd like prayer over. If you'd like to do that, use it. There are several important announcements in the program. Make sure you pay close attention to them, and 2 of them happen next Sunday. Next Sunday on August 3rd, first of all, it's Promotion Sunday, which means all the children who are age and grade eligible will be moving throughout the church from nursery to beginner, beginner to Kids Jam to Velocity. So make sure you're here. Make sure your child's here. We bring them up on stage and make a big deal, give them a gift, that sort of thing. Also, that evening, from 6:30 to 8:30, we will have Splash in the Burrow all to ourselves. This is something we do about every 2 to 3 years. We rent out the place. This is a great opportunity for you to invite someone who typically wouldn't attend church. You might not get them here on a Sunday, but you might be able to get their family to Splash in the Burrow. We'll have the whole place to ourselves, and it only costs you $10. $10 a piece or $30 for your family, no matter how many kids you have. Now, they need to be your kids, okay? $30 for you and your family, you and your children. My advice is get there a little early. A line will form. Please bring cash. We won't have the ability to swipe credit cards or debit cards. Bring cash, $10 a person or $30 for your family. Show up between 6 and 6:15. We'll get in line. We'll collect all the money. The gates will open, and boom. For 2.5 hours, it'll be all ours, okay? Okay, look, super glad you're here. There's one other announcement in the program, and it has to do with Bible Trivia Night on August the 13th. That's a Wednesday. Get the details from the program. This is high competition back there in Kids Jam. If your kid, we've done a couple of these. If your kid came home a month or so ago after our first crying because their team lost, you just got to know that's how intense the competition is back there on one of these Bible Trivia Nights. Super glad you're here. Can't wait to show you what the group has discovered, uncovered, experienced half a world away in Mission Tomei. We're going to have a prayer, and we'll do a little more singing, and then we'll introduce you to the team. Okay, let's pray together. Our Father in God, we are truly thankful, humbled actually. We bow before you with gratitude in our hearts, a sense of awe in our spirit, knowing we would not even have an audience with you, our Creator, were it not for the sacrifice you would make on our behalf. So, Father, today we celebrate the risen King, Jesus Christ. We pray that as we gather, everything we do, we pray it elevates that name. We are so thankful and so enthusiastic to have played a small role in what you are doing half a world away in Kenya. Thank you for Stephen and his leadership. Thank you for his heart. Thank you for his vision, a vision you gave him more than 15 years ago. God, I pray that everything that takes place today in this place honors you and elevates the name of Jesus. Amen.
Please stand with us and sing.
Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaken. I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. I've still got joy in chaos. I've got peace that makes no sense. I won't be going under. Not held by my own strength, 'cause I build my life on Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful in every season. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. Rain came, the wind blew. My house was built on you. Let me hear you sing it. I'm gonna make it through. Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaking. I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. When all I see is the battle, you see my victory. When all I see is the mountain, you see a mountain move. And as I walk through the shadow, your love surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, for I am safe with you. When I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Every fear I lay at your feet. I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And if you are for me, who can be against me? Jesus, there's nothing impossible. can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Every fear I lay at your feet. I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Oh God, the battle belongs to you.
You can have a seat.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Grace. You are in for a treat. We've had talked earlier this morning, and so now they're kind of ready for the questions, I guess. So I'm gonna have to change them up just a little bit to surprise them. But we've got the group that went over this year for the Mission Tomei trip, and it's a larger group than normal, and I'll have Cody speak to that towards the end. But um, we're just going to go down the line. I've got a lot of questions. We have a lot of pictures and videos that are available. This time is probably more than ever, 600 videos and pictures, and I know that's not all of them, but what we're going to do is we are going to create a file share and send it out to anybody that wants it, and then we will keep that going next year. We'll just have another year in there and keep that going so that everyone can join in and see what went on while you guys were over there. So let's start it out with Cody. Can you fill us in on maybe some of the current projects that are going on now, or some of the things that you were able to tackle and accomplish while you were over there?
Yeah. So since we left, they had started the foundation on the newest school buildings while we were there. But since we left, they've completed that. So right now, our school building wise is complete, other than the upcoming um, the laboratory that we have to have for the oldest classes. But yeah, so that's it on the top two, and then the left bottom. That's all that's happened since we were there. It is four more classrooms. It's two buildings kind of butted together, but it's four classrooms. And then what we mostly worked on, we just kind of stood it in all as they dug the foundations for that, because that's bigger than any project any mission team has taken on. But while we were there, we were able to do some much needed maintenance on the church. We built the new pews you see there in the picture for them. Until now, they haven't had pews. They would go to the school and grab the benches from the pre-K and kindergarten classes and bring those in. And that's what all the members of the church would sit on. So now they have their own heavy-duty pews. We replaced the doors there. We replaced a lot of the windows. Kids say they just fall out or the wind blows them out, but the adults say they throw rocks at them. So uh, kids are kids around the world. So so we fixed the windows, and some of the mortar. We redid some of the mortar work with the masonry there.
And you said that those pews down in the bottom right-hand corner, those are like, you're going to keep moving them around all over the place because they're real light and mobile and
No, they're definitely not. So we were back and forth on what size lumber to go with, and in Kenya, if you order a 2x10, it's going to come 2 inches by 10 inches. There's no planing down. The mill there cuts it exactly whatever you tell them. So those are pretty heavy benches.
And just so that everyone knows, the classrooms that you're talking about is the bottom left, and that's actually multiple classrooms in that building. They're just, like you said, butted together. So the building itself is pretty much finished, but now it's time to outfit it and put everything that's needed inside of it, right?
Right. Yeah. The desk, lockers, that sort of thing.
And how many classrooms is that in the bottom right that we're looking at, or bottom left that we're looking at?
That's 4 classes.
Dallas, you've been before to Kenya, so you've had experience a couple years ago. And can you tell us maybe things that have changed since you were there last time? Anything that stands out? The growth, buildings, and anything like that to you this time?
A lot has changed over the previous years. I told Stephen Brake it was crazy. From the first time I ever went, there was just a tree, and now there's nice buildings there. The biggest thing I noticed was the classrooms. It was a shack pretty much there before. It was just a metal tin put together for classrooms, and now they actually have buildings to go into with desks and chalkboards to write on. And I was telling them before that they reuse everything. The pencils can be like this big, and they'll still write with them. They reuse chalk over in their notebooks. It'll be packed They're not just going to throw a sheet of paper away. It's front to back packed. And in some of the pictures that if y'all look through them, we took pictures this time of like what it looks like and just how grateful and humble they are to get to go to school and to learn. And we did questions with the fifth grade, and we were talking about like being smarter than a fifth grader. We were not smarter than a fifth grader. They're really smart. All of them are really smart. And the English has improved so much. Yeah, it's probably better than us, yes. But that has changed, and I know it's something like little, but it is a big deal because before it was hard to understand some of them, and now they're so intelligent and you can understand them, and they want to talk to you and tell you about everything. So I thought that was just a big impact this time.
I noticed that several of the pictures, now I know that everybody has not uploaded all their pictures into the share, but I noticed that several of the pictures, you always look like you're surprised. Is that like you're surprised that they're taking a picture of you, or is there something else going on?
We were supposed to go walking, and y'all, they say it's close. It's not close. The huts are not close. It's fib. And I don't want to miss something like Ramy, but we were supposed to go on a walk, and they tell you bring water, but it was not a quick little walk. So I was just thrilled.
David, there was a lot of pictures in the share that we're about to see in here. So I've got just a couple questions about them. I guess if you can explain these first, and then I've got a question for you after that.
So the first one up there, that's Simon and myself. Simon was a kid that I met last year. Stephen had said that he did not have any support. His parents were gone. His brother had gone to find work and had to come back. And so I was able to and offered to help do that. And the things that they were able to do with what little I gave, giving him a place to live. A couple of ladies in his tribe stepped up, and he lives with them and their families. And he's got a bed, he's got clothes, he's got people that care about him. And the difference between what he looks like from just a year ago to then, it's really a testament to what everybody here does. Just giving, and it's not even a huge thing, but it means so much, not only in actual physically taking care of them, but their mental, their spiritual well-being. So that's for me exactly why I like to do stuff like this. I get more out of it, I say, than they possibly could. It's absolutely amazing. So Simon's my buddy. So getting to see him and go back every year and see how he's grown is pretty fantastic. The one in the middle there, we were engaging in spiritual battle. I didn't know I had that power. It's kind of fantastic to find out. And then the last one is competitive Pokemon.
And like I said in the previous service, that right there is Ramy wearing a hat of some kind that someone brought or bought there or something.
So I asked Slade to tell this last service, but he didn't, so I'll tell. So he bought this hat of a dinosaur because his granddaughter calls him Papasaurus. And of course, Ramy, who's not here, who we always ask, where's Ramy, because he's always off doing something. And so he put it on, and then I did what I did, and the people in London are thinking, yeah, Americans.
So I know we don't have it up here, but it was in the slideshow. There was a picture of a pile of rocks, and you were standing on top of it. So can you explain a little bit about the rocks and what they're used for, and kind of how you acquire them when you're over there?
For standing on.
Yeah, because I think that's something that a group of you did quite a bit.
Yeah, so the buildings that you saw that they did the classrooms on, the foundations, the trenches that are dug, rocks are placed in them, those rocks down in there, then they do cement, and they did a lot of work. And one of our jobs was to travel a few miles away, take rocks, throw them in the back of a dump trailer, haul it back with a tractor, and that was the picture you saw of Ramy driving shirtless because he likes to be shirtless. And then we walk back, unload them, and then do it again. So, like I said, it was a 3-mile walk. But we were able to talk to, one of the guys that lives there on the way back. We had conversations, pointed out all kinds of stuff, and everybody in Kenya, at least in the area that they're your friend. Everybody waves. They're goats and zebras, or what we called striped donkeys, everywhere you go there. And so the walk back is also amazing. So you do a little work, you talk to the locals, and just sightseeing. It was absolutely fantastic.
So you're saying everybody waves. It's not like down south they're waving away the gnats, right?
Correct. So here, if you have a truck, you wave at each other, but nobody else. But there, everybody. And like I said, goats as far as the eye can see. And same thing, zebras. They're just stupid with zebras there.
Stephanie, I know that you've been several times, but this time I think that there was something significant or something special about a child there.
In the picture that's up there, this is Purity. And years ago, when the church decided for Christmas we were going to buy the uniforms, and they just had a list, and we picked her name and bought her uniform. So 2 years ago, I was able to meet her for the first time, but this time going back, it's like, I wanted to see her again, and she remembered me, and so it was, building that relationship, and the other children kind of remembered my name as well, which was kind of amazing also, because it's been a couple of years, and getting to know them more and more.
And I've heard that from several people during the last service and even outside of that they remember. They remember you, they remember your name. And if I heard you just right, it's more than just the one child remembers you, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, and just getting to be with them and listen to their stories. They want to talk to you about school and what they're doing. They're about to sit for. She's in 7th grade, and I think 7th and 8th grade is going to sit for like a huge exam. I think it determines like for their like going towards like high school, and they want to tell you about their studies and what they are doing, and then we all just try to encourage them to continue with their education and grow with that.
That's great. Ramey couldn't be with us, but he wanted me to mention that he was able to worship with a blind woman over there. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I don't think that was the picture. In the top left, and I think Cody can fill us in a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I don't remember what day. It may have been a Wednesday. We when we don't have something to do in the evenings, we like to get out and walk, and visit the locals, the local villages, and we came across this one with the eldest person in the village was this blind woman, and with her we kind of had an impromptu like Wednesday night worship service, and it was really special. We sang songs of worship in English and in Swahili. Well, we hummed the Swahili parts, but it was really special. And then at one point, one of the gentlemen that was walking with us said, "Okay, now we'll hear the word of the Lord from the pastor," and turned around and looked at me. And at some point, I was ordained in Kenya. I'm not sure when it happened, but
and since Ramey's not here, someone else can speak to that. But I've heard from several of you that Ramey was always off somewhere. So, like when you would go on a hike or you'd go walking somewhere, everybody would be in a group. Ramey'd already be at the top of the hill or the top of the mountain. He was gone. He was always doing something. Does anyone want to
yeah,
say something
well,
to that?
we did decide that if Ramey goes back, we're getting him a red and white striped shirt and a little beanie hat, because the saying is, "Where's Ramey?" Because we're always trying to find him. He's normally in the lead, but it may not be where we're going, but he's in the lead.
And another thing that he did over there, which just blew me away, was the picture on the right. So that's Ramey standing on the top of the building, barefoot, on the edge, and he's holding out a chainsaw cutting down the tree. And I'm guessing he broke about 30 or 40 OSHA violations. Is that?
Yeah, that's there's no OSHA over there, and Ramey takes full advantage.
And when his dad, Frank, saw that picture, he looked at it for a second, and he said, "That boy." He said he's always doing stuff like that. So, anyways, if anybody has a chance when they see Ramey again, you can ask him about some of this stuff. But he has a lot of great stories, and I know that he says he plans on going back again. So, Sully, I've got a question for you. Now that you've been one time before and gone back again, can you tell us what stood out to you? Anything that's changed? Maybe something significant on this trip, something that you're going to remember?
What really stood out to me this time is just really how grateful the kids are to see you, and how much this church does for not only the mission but the villages and communities surrounding it. A lot of people don't have access to water there, so you see our well with people, kids from the village going to get water so they can have their livelihood, make food. And they're just so grateful. No matter who you talk to, and the surrounding area around that place knows about Grace Community Church and what they've done for the mission, and how they support the mission. So that's just so encouraging. Every kid there knows who you are. Are you coming back again? You're treated like a celebrity there, but it's not only what we do for them. It's really almost what they do for us. Coming back, we bring so much back. We can bring so much back to our community. You're humble while you're there. You can really, think about what, your future is, what you need to do for the Lord, and how you can continue to, bless Him in those ways.
Can you tell us a little bit about, because this time we bought them, as you can see on the right, first class travel. So can you tell us a little bit about some of these pictures here,
Yeah,
especially
so
the one on the right?
the one on the right, we were headed back. It was probably like 5:30 in the morning, and the old Land Rover, because we're sitting sideways right there. But there was, I guess, yeah, all 8 of us were packed in a car like that. You get to know each other more personally than you want, I guess. But it's a great trip. On the way back, you stop so many times at these different places. You really get to, assimilate with the culture and really see what everybody does around there. The stops to me are what make this trip worth it. The middle picture right there, we were on the way to the mission site, and there's fruit stands all over the side of the road with pineapples and sugar cane. And so we stopped, and people came out of the sugar cane bushes, and they started selling us pineapples and sugar cane, and we stopped and talked to them for about 30 or 45 minutes. Just great conversation. They love to see us, and most of them know what we're there to do. The one on the left it's called Neruru. Well, it's about an hour from the mission site, but there's a beautiful waterfall. It's not all in the picture, but you can see we're all standing on a rock to get our individual portrait taken. But it's a decent hike down the steps, and then once you get down, unfortunately, you have to walk all the way back up, which takes a long time. But it's really cool how vast the change of landscape is there too. Not only do you go there to do mission work, but it's really fun to go see the cultures and go see the things that surround the village. So you drive an hour, and you go from seeing lions, zebras, and all sorts of stuff to seeing monkeys swinging in trees. But it's just a wonderful opportunity, and it's wonderful what this church does to contribute to it.
And just real quick, how long did you say approximately that ride was on the right?
It was about 7 hours packed that tight, so it's pretty great. You get to know each other, like I said.
That's great. All right, Slade. First question I have for you is, can you tell everybody that doesn't know you how to pronounce your name correctly?
Slade.
Very good. So why is Slade significant?
Well, when we were over there and first morning, we were there and it was devotion time for the school, and there's 200 or 300 students there. They have a morning devotion. They get out and pledge allegiance to their flag, have prayer time. But we were all to introduce ourselves one at a time. And when I'd say my name, they'd say it different. It would be Clyde or Slide, and I said, no, it's Slade. So the entire time after that, whether I was talking to 2 of them or 200 of them, I got Slade. And they do the hand and everything.
So yeah, and we were talking after the service. You know that a year or two you go back, and it's still going to be Slade.
Swahili with a Southern draw.
And then there was something else that I heard a lot of, so I want to see if you can tell everybody about that. But is it true that really you only have two things to worry about?
Every day. 2 things to worry about.
Two things, that's it?
We were riding together, maybe at an airport, and there was about 3 or 4 of us together. And something come up, and I said, you only got 2 things to worry about. But then I got to tell them where it come from. It was a joke a comedian did, and I'll do it for you. But the comedian says, Grandma told me when I was little, boy, you only got 2 things to worry about. Either you're healthy or you're sick. And if you're healthy, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you're sick, you got 2 things to worry about. And then he'd go on and say, if you're sick, you're either gonna get better or you're gonna get worse. If you get better, you ain't got nothing to worry about. If you're sick, you got 2 things to worry about. Either you're gonna die or get better. If you get better, you don't have anything to worry about. Of course, if you die, you got 2 things to worry about. She said, boy, you're either going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell. So if you go to heaven, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you go to hell, you got 2 things to worry about. Original or extra crispy. But that got to be a thing. The whole time we were there, we'd say, you got 2 things to worry about.
And I've heard that several times from a bunch of people since then. Something comes up and they'll say, you really only have 2 things to worry about. I know we don't have that picture up here, but it was in the slideshow, and when we send out the share for everybody, they'll be able to see it. But if you could address, there was a picture of you standing there with 2 of the girls from the school. Can you talk about that for a minute?
There were 2 of the older girls, and if you notice, some of the students have blue uniforms on. And those 2 girls, it stood out to me from day one. They just had an exceptional look of joy on their face. And they'd come up and they'd talk when we had times together. And it must have been the last day of the trip. When they called me by name, they asked me, they said, you're Slade Holloway. And I said, how do you know my last name is Holloway? And they said, because our uniforms. My wife had, I think it was my birthday, and we had a thing here where you could buy uniforms, and she didn't know what to get for me. So she bought 2 uniforms and sent them over there, and apparently they had my name on them when they got there. And those 2 girls remembered Slade Holloway was on those uniforms. But I tell you this story, it was an emotional moment for me because I'm on the other side of the earth. Somebody remembers my name because of the gift on it. But what I want people here to understand is when we give something like that there, it's so much different than when we're doing things here. You may do it for a school or a group, and not that it's not appreciated, but I can remember doing things like a bicycle drive or anything, and a lot of times the kid doesn't even know, where it come from. They may say this church gave it or this organization. But for them to remember your name a year later was on that uniform. And what they said is the uniform was a gift, but the real gift is being able to see you here. And I want people to understand the appreciation that comes from those kids.
And we've heard it a couple times now. It's just amazing that something as small as a piece of clothing, they remember your name, and they remember your name for a couple of years, and you go back a couple of years from now, and I bet you they'll still know your name.
Absolutely, they do.
So Chet, my understanding is that this trip was the greatest thing that's ever happened to you. Is that correct?
Yes, there was one specific thing that happened that
Oh, one specific
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
It's going to be that picture there on the left side. And my wife is here, so I have to be careful with what I say, but apparently that was the best experience of my life. No, it really was amazing. Waking up in the hotel there that morning after getting to Africa and getting settled, and waking up in the hotel was pretty surreal. Just being there, and then the first thing we did was we drove to this lake where we did a boat excursion, where we got to see hippos and warthogs and monkeys and eagles and all kinds of really neat things. So kind of building up, and then once we got off the boat, I got on a camel and rode it, and just being in Africa by a lake surrounded by mountains, riding a camel, it was just, I was mind blown. So it was a wonderful experience.
And can you give us perspective on, being that you're the only new person there this time, and with a group this large, what did you take away from that, being that that's your first time?
Sure, yeah. So definitely prior to going, I was pretty nervous about just being there and what that was going to consist of. But to be honest, it was way better than I could have ever imagined. I was concerned about the security of everything, but the first morning when I walked out of my hut and just saw how well cultivated everything was, and the way everything was being upheld, and the greenery, and just how beautiful everything was in that area, and how we were in a secure fenced-in area, but also inside of that fenced-in area was another fenced-in area, which is where we were housed. So very secure, and I felt very safe being there, which was a concern of mine. But I think the kids were the biggest thing. Seeing just all the kids who would walk from miles in the morning just to come to school there, and participate in what was going on. It's just a beautiful thing. Knowing 15 years ago there was nothing but a tree that stood there, and now there's so much going on that Ramey's cutting down a tree. It's incredible just to be a part of it and to see how far it's come. I think the biggest thing I took away was just the fact that they don't have a lot. We have a lot more things than they have, but a lot of those things steal a lot of our time and a lot of our life. And I think just for them to be so joyful and so happy and appreciative of what they have, and just faithful. Their faith is so strong, knowing that God is going to provide what they need. It's very enlightening, very humbling, and I think that was the biggest thing I took away, was just how full of joy and full of life they are.
Cody, I know that I said I was going to come back to you for another question. If someone wanted to go, or was looking to go again, because this group was larger than previous years, and we hope that it keeps going that way. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it is to go now versus kind of what it used to be?
Yeah, definitely. If you have been toying around with the idea of going in the past, now is the time to go for sure. It's never been easier. It's never been more convenient. The more convenience we have over there. I want to toot my horn, but we have porcelain toilets on site. There's running water. We've got 3 different showers, so we have multiple people showering separately at the same time. The huts are like he was saying, they're secure, they're warm at night and cool during the day. The food is great. I know you may have heard some, not horror stories, but some rough stories from the past, because it has been rough in the past. But we've got good cooks. We've got good transportation now, thanks to the Land Rover and the Land Cruiser. We can support larger groups. So let's go.
Now, Stephen, first of all, I want to say thank you to you and your family for everything that you've done and everything that you do. I know that you're over there supporting, being on site for Mission Tomei a lot more than just this one trip, so other people know that. But can you talk just a little bit about maybe some things that are upcoming, some new things that are on the horizon for this next year? And I know that towards this time of year, every year, we always talk about the government regulations as making Mission Tomei having to change or adjust something with the school, but can you speak to that?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Grace Community Church from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, thank you for every single prayers. Thank you for every single support. And actually, the fact that we have gone for 15 years, we have seen the grace of God. And the church, the school, and the community, they really, really appreciate everything that you do. And also this year, we have made a quite progress. We have 2 classes that we were able to finish this year. That was part of the regulation by the government for the upcoming the junior high school. We also had purchased the Land Rover that made it easier for the transportation, as Cody was saying. So about the laboratory is one of the requirements by the government for the new junior classes. So the government has given us up to the end of this year to make sure that we do have the laboratory that is well equipped. And every junior high school in Kenya has to have that. So that's one of the projects that we are praying God that we will be able to accomplish before the end of the year. And also the 2 buildings is in the process of almost to be completed. But they're going to be hosting about 100 children. So, but also we have to be able to have the lockers, the desk. So also we have to equip those 2 classrooms.
So and I'm sorry to interrupt, but
It's okay.
the building that we had shown earlier, the very large blue building where you said it was kind of 2 buildings butted up against each other, that's the one that you're referring to, right? Everything inside now needs to be outfitted.
Yes, that's correct. And also part of the school, we still have we do have feeding program. We feed about 400 children for the lunch. So, and we do have some kids that they are quite malnutrition, that they need an extra supplement. So I was talking to the school, the teachers, and they requested if we can get at least 3 to 5 cows. And this cow will be able to add supplement, the milk supplement for their diet. And also the mission, we don't have electricity, so we have to rely on firewood that sometimes we have to borrow or to buy about 5 to 7 miles before we can get anything to cook the food. So we are hoping that if we can buy like 3 to 5 cows, we can be able to get source of electricity.
So, and I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in one more time for that. So you're saying that the mission is looking to get 3 to 5 cows to keep on the site that will serve a dual purpose. One is to supplement the feeding program, and then a byproduct of the cows will provide the mission fuel for the fires.
Yeah, that's correct. So what they do is they have to build the biogas. I don't know, it's not very common here. The biogas has to use, their manure, and then in the process we can produce the electricity that will be able to we can use to make food for them.
Well, again, I thank everyone very much. They'll be in the back afterwards by the table. They brought some stuff, and please, stop by, see them, ask some more questions. I figured the best way to close out would be to allow the children to say something to everyone here.
Books for our learning, stories to share, showing God love and how much you care. This is our thank you
You are loved in this place. People love you and the work that you have done. I want to thank you for participating today and thank all of you. You guys did a good job. I want to challenge you. Create a little more margin in your life so you'll always have money to help somebody who needs it. You'll always have time to go on a mission trip. You'll always have energy to reach out in your circle of influence and allow God to work through you. Let's have a prayer and we'll be dismissed. Father, I am so thankful and privileged to be a small part of this big plan of yours, the work that you're doing halfway around the world and how it touches our folks when we send them over there, and evidently how they touch the folks who live there. God, we're just grateful to play a role. God, and I pray that you will continue to bless and grow and inspire Stephen and his leadership team. I pray, God, that you will always support their needs as I know you will, and pray that you'll give us the opportunity to play a role in that. Father, dismiss your church with your blessing. Watch over and keep us this week as we endeavor to follow your Son, Jesus Christ. It's in his name I pray. Amen. God bless you, church. I'll see you next time.